Good morning, everyone. Well, if you're in the far eastern part of Nebraska, it's looking like a pretty wet day. But if you're in the western half of the state, not looking like a wet day at all. It's going to be completely dry. So let's track all this activity hour by hour. Here we are, 8 a.m. this morning. And I do have to say that this is the peak of the activity across the state. So a chance of rain for Kearney, Grand Island, up to O'Neill, and on to the east. But if you live west of Kearney, no chance of rain today. You're going to be staying dry. That said, notice what I'm talking about as we go towards 11 a.m. Notice still a good chance of rain for Lincoln and Omaha, but already dry for Kearney and just a small chance of rain around Grand Island. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The rain coming to an end for even more folks, but notice the scattered showers still around Lincoln and Omaha. So still a chance of rain even through the early afternoon for the far eastern part of the state. But meanwhile, look how in the central and western part of the state, a lot of sunshine. Finally, by 5 o'clock, all the rain is out of here, so it doesn't look like a dry, homebound commute. And check out temperatures. Though it's actually going to be cooler in the western part of the state today, a nice warm-up in the far eastern part of the state, where yesterday we were in the low 50s, upper 40s. How about mid to upper 60s this afternoon? Still dealing with the wind. Now, not quite as much wind as yesterday, but I've got to call it breezy in the far eastern part of the state, and then an area of windy conditions where gusts are going to be in that 35 mile per hour range. And I think in the far western part of the state, it's going to be the windiest. I call it a very windy day out there where those gusts could reach up to 40 miles per hour. So there could be a couple little stray showers that might come back during the evening hours in a couple of places, but it's not going to be anything significant. I do think for the morning commute tomorrow, it's going to be completely dry across the state with temperatures mainly in the low to mid 40s. In the afternoon tomorrow, feeling great. How about temperatures in the 70s across the state, low 70s in the northern half of the state, lots of mid 70s in the southern half. The winds continuing to decrease tomorrow. In fact, it doesn't even look like a breezy day if you're in Lincoln or Omaha. Just call it light winds. I'll still call it breezy if you're in Grand Island, Kearney, and North Platte. Those gusts in that 25 mile per hour range. And it's still windy in the panhandle, but better than today. I don't think we're going to get those gusts around 40 miles per hour. Those gusts may be in that 30 to 35 mile per hour range. I've stopped the model at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon because I do think that's when the rain chance could start to begin again for the southern part of the state. But notice at 4 o'clock, most are going to be dry. But as we jump ahead to 7 o'clock, notice how the activity is starting to pick up. And though it's not a guarantee, there are going to be thunderstorms around. And the problem is, any storms that do pop up, notice it's going to be a combination of showers and storms. But any storms that do pop up could be severe. Chance is small for a severe storm because it's not going to be widespread thunderstorms. But we just got to watch for any of those little shades of orange that are showing up. One of those storms could overachieve and be classified as a severe storm. This is 10 o'clock in the evening. Notice how the activity continuing to push on up to the north. But again, in the far western part of the state, not happening. This is a situation for the central and eastern part of the state. So let's talk about the severe threat for the late afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. Now, we're not worried about tornadoes. That threat stays to the south down in Kansas. Not worried about flooding. At most, we're talking about 2 inches of rain. Most are going to see less than that. What I'm most concerned about is possibly some quarter-size hail in the storms that do pop up. Now, it's more likely you won't see hail, or it'll just be really small hail, that pea-size hail, maybe some penny-size hail, but at worst case, quarter-size hail, which isn't going to do tremendous damage, but that is enough to leave some dents in the cars. Also, worst case scenario, we can see wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Of course, I'll give you an update on this tomorrow morning.